Ohio Republicans break with Trump on immigration. Kind of. Joining us on Columbus on the Record this week, Kathy Kandinsky, State House reporter for the Columbus Dispatch. Andy Chow, State House reporter for Ohio Public Radio. Terry Casey, Republican strategist, and Sam Gresham of Common Cause Ohio. Republican leaders, with the exception of John Kasich, have been careful not to criticize President Trump. But the president's zero-tolerance policy of prosecuting illegal border crossers and separating them from their children proved too much. The images of children in detention centers along the Mexican border in Texas brought public outcry and shifting stories from the president and his administration. Not surprisingly, Kasich was among the first to criticize, calling the policy insane.
You'd like to see the administration say the solution to this problem at the border is not to separate families and to create conditions that are intolerable.
Congressman Steve Stivers, who is in charge of getting Republicans elected to Congress this year, called on the administration to stop needlessly separating children from their parents. The usually cautious Rob Portman called for an end of the practice. Note he pointed to the Justice Department and not directly at President Trump. Attorney General Mike DeWine, who was running for governor, hedged even more. Listen closely to the last part of his statement.
We need a comprehensive immigration reform. The laws need to be followed as far as who comes into the United States and who does not. However, this great country should not be in the position of separating children from their parents. I just gave you my statement. The United States should not be in the position of separating parents from children.
Terry, we should not be in the position of separating children from their parents, not President Trump shouldn't be separating children from their parents. Why so cautious?
Well, the truth of the matter is the Republican Party is divided over this issue and has been going back to the late 1980s when the last major immigration reform went through. Because part of the Republican Party wants cheaper labor, whether it's farms or businesses, and other Republicans are worried about what it does to the impact on costs of operating schools, healthcare, other things. So there's a divided Republican Party, just like a lot of Americans are divided.
He wants reform. He said he wants reform, but he wouldn't go as far as to say President Trump was wrong here.
Well, part of it is
mistakes were made. That's kind of what that sounds like. Mistakes were made. He didn't make the mistake. Mistakes were made.
Well, bungle of all time. I mean, in the history, the chronicle of history of Trump, I mean, he's had a bunch of things, but this is the biggest bungle I've ever seen.
Well, Sam, he adjusted and changed, and you'd think people'd say, well, thank you.
He really didn't adjust and change. He put some Band-Aids over it, and he doesn't know how he's going to get those kids back with their families. He hasn't figured that out yet.
Well, but part of the divide, you've got a Congress that says the legislative branch should be stronger. Then Chuck Schumer says, well, don't pay attention to Congress.
Don't blame this on the Democrats. The Democrats didn't have anything to do with it.
The Democrats in the first 2 years.
I was going to get back to DeWine. I mean, he's running for governor of Ohio as a Republican. And as a Republican, you criticize President Trump at your own peril.
Yep.
You know, there's half the Republicans in Ohio support President Trump, maybe more support President Trump. So if he goes out and attacks President Trump personally, that could come back to haunt him. That's, I think, why you saw him hedging. That was the most painful statement I've ever. I mean, it looked like it was hurting him.
He said it one more time. Exactly, word for word.
He's usually somebody who can talk off the cuff and be a little more folksy. That was very
and
much a prepared
father of
statement,
many
really.
Kids he's got. I don't know, I hate to misspeak, 8, 10 kids, something like that?
No, he had 8, he lost the one daughter, he's got 7.
Children.
He's got a lot of grandkids.
He's got tons of grandkids. You think that would be a no-brainer to come out and talk against that? I'm kind of surprised, a little disappointed.
And this is an interesting issue because it's a bungle, but it's more than that because there are human lives involved and 2,000 kids who are separated from their families. So, I mean, we're seeing it with a lot of Republicans that doesn't matter what they want to do as far as politics goes, they're seeing kids not with their families. And we saw with Senator Portman that even he had to come out against it.
Trump would seem to have crossed a line with this one, and I think that's why you saw him reverse his position, which I think is the first time we've seen him do that.
It's the first time he's caved. He really
And to give
pulled a
credit to
180.
the first ladies, several of them Republican, current or past.
Her ambiguous jacket
Several
too.
of them Democrats.
I know, but
I think they're split, 2 Democrats, 2 Republicans, just to be fair.
I know, but this is a divisive issue because it's more simple than just the southern border, because there's a lot of people that say, why don't we let everybody into America that's in a country that's suffering economically? And whether from Central America, Africa, the Middle East, there's billions of people, and it's a struggle in Europe to figure it out. It's a struggle here.
But the issue here is focused to me squarely on, do you separate children from their parents? Not on our immigration policy. So, I mean, that's part of the bigger debate. But the issue that caused so much concern was strictly on separating children from their families, from their moms, from their dads, and that should be an easy one.
And the thing that's tough here is that it seems like the Trump administration wasn't even prepared for this kind of question. But when you talk to other people who've been dealing with immigration reform, they seem to have this as an institutional knowledge. We want immigration reform, but we've always had a stance to not separate families. So for a lot of people, it seems like they know that this is an issue that can come up.
But I think they were using it as a deterrent and miscalculated its impact from an optical standpoint.
Yeah, they said they were using it
I think
as a
that might be
deterrent.
Right.
The chief of staff told that to CNN and then to NPR.
And in all honesty, both sides have used this. I mean, the Democrats, they had 2 years with Obama's president and huge control of the House and Senate, and they never did immigration reform that they promised during the 2008
They did
debate.
Obamacare.
Well, but they could have done, they had the numbers.
Let's
They
talk
could-
about that now.
Shouldn't immigration reform be fairly easy if you kept it narrow? Okay, we'll help out the dreamers, the kids who were brought here as kids, and so the Democrats get that. You give them a few $1 billion for the wall, and we're good. Why can't that get done?
Because there's more to the issue than that.
I know there's more to it, but baby steps.
Well, but see, there's people that say if you give in the baby steps, one side or the other loses the leverage in the argument. So
That's
there's,
exactly right.
So there's politics in politics.
But we have an
There's no
amateur
room
at
for
the wheel.
sensibility
We don't have a
now.
politician at the wheel who knows how to cut deals and knows how things work. We have an amateur, and he doesn't know what he's doing.
So you'd rather have a slick politician that talks out of both sides
Hey,
of their mouth?
we get things done.
All right, while all this was going on, the trade war intensified. Perish the thought. After China threatened to retaliate for Trump's first round of tariffs on Chinese products, Trump threatened another round of tariffs on China, quadruple the first round. The trade war could really affect Ohio soybean farmers. That's one of the products on which China has promised to impose tariffs. China buys a lot of Ohio soybeans. An Ohio State study says Ohio soybean farmers could lose half of their annual incomes if China imposes a 25% tariff on their crop. Soybean future prices are already down. Kathy Kandinsky, this just shows you how these things work. You've got to protect steel, but farmers may suffer.
Whack-a-mole, whack-a-mole. Something's going to come up somewhere else. 31% of soybeans in Ohio are exported to China, and China's the largest importer of soybeans. If these tariffs go through, I mean, the short answer is farms will close. They stand to lose about 60% of revenues, soybean farmers do, and what you'll see is farms closing and obviously a lot of money lost in Ohio.
This goes to show you that, it's one thing to say, oh, we're talking China and U.S., but this really does have an at-home impact on a lot of local Ohioans.
Right.
And even I talked to a pork farmer who's going through the same situation where, and some sort of tariff on pork can hurt as well. And even talking about this hurts the market and creates an instability.
Right. But the stupid thing is, you can't go around just punching people in the eyes, putting these tariffs on. You got Europe. You got Mexico, you got Canada, all angry at us. Not just China, because we put these tariffs on. You can't beat everybody. And the farmers in Ohio, don't just worry about Canada, Mexico, the EU. All those countries are going to put tariffs on our
We
products.
got to
But Sam,
strategize about
let me
it.
just interrupt you with a couple little facts. If you look at last year, 2017 U.S. Census, $505 billion worth of stuff came in from China. Only $130 billion went to China because China plays with the currency, their rules, the limits on investments, and at some point, Bush, Clinton, And Obama tried to play nice with
But
China
this is
and
not
got
the way to
nowhere.
do that.
But
Well,
how's the way?
What is
Being
that?
nice failed under 3 different presidents.
What is the way if there is a trade deficit and if we are losing jobs to countries that charge or they pay their workers far less? Is
Okay,
a little
then-
bit of pain now worth it if it fixes the problem or works to fix the problem?
No, I don't think it'll fix it at all. The problem is the multiplicity of enemies that you're creating on these tariffs. Not just China. China is one entity that you're working on. There is a way to negotiate a deal because everybody is willing to cut a deal. We can inflict pain on China. We just have not chosen to do it in a way that they really respond to
Well,
us.
Sam, have you ever negotiated with the Chinese? I was earlier this year over in Hong Kong and Southeast Asia, and as they explained, the Chinese are wonderful at looking at you, smiling, and never really giving an answer. They're good negotiators.
I've never negotiated with a Chinese.
Well, people who have will tell you it's tough to win, particularly when they've got a 4-to-1 trade advantage. They love it just the way it is. So the longer they can keep talking and doing nothing, they win.
The sense is the sense I have is that there wasn't a broader calculation of what this was going to impose. Like what the tariffs on steel was going to, I mean, this should have been anticipated, and we should have been like a chess game, a couple steps ahead, knowing how we were going to react or how we were going to offset that problem that we were creating by the tariffs on steel. But you don't sense that that's happened at all. It just seems kind of random.
You have somebody like Senator Sherrod Brown, a top Democrat in Ohio, who's all for the tariffs on China. But as Sam says, people like Senator Brown are unhappy with the other enemies that this has been creating with Canada and the EU.
So you're saying Sherrod Brown and Donald Trump were on the same page on the steel
When it comes to
Have you seen
Chinese
the ad he's
tariffs,
running?
Absolutely.
He sounds very
I
Trumpy.
know, but it's hard to have it. You can't have it both ways.
Sure you can.
It's a fact.
Politics.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Remember, you said that earlier.
I understand.
You know, what about other industries? You know, the European Union is penalizing Paul Ryan's Wisconsin cranberries. It's penalizing Mitch O'Connell's Kentucky bourbon. What's Ohio's specialty?
Well, but remember,
Buckeye candy?
Europe,
I think
Europe
soybeans
is
is what
Soybean.
Soybeans?
But Europe is the worst at cheating to protect the farmers in Europe against international competition. American farmers don't have a fair chance to
And
compete
we're
in
clean
Europe.
as driven snow, huh? No, we all do things. I think
Well, but Europe's worse at it than the United States is.
my problem with this, we got an amateur at the wheel. I think Candy was right. We should have anticipated these things and been 4 or 5 moves ahead. This group of bunglers had no preparation for either the tariffs or the kids. They had no preparation. A bunch of amateurs.
Well, this could be the opening salvo in a negotiation. You know, put all the cards on the table and then. walk
And
it back.
initially on the steel thing, China came back and said they were going to buy, I think, $100 and some billion worth of added farm goods. I don't know where that went. I mean, but we all know in negotiations there's tugs and pulls.
You don't negotiate these things in public. That's the first rule. You negotiate them in the back room. Once you get people's egos out in the media, they're going to do things that you can't control.
Well,
Works both ways.
we'll see. In the wake of the Parkland, Florida school shooting, Governor Kasich presented a modest package of gun control measures. It would ban bump stocks and armor-piercing bullets, tighten the state's background check system, and establish a system for seizing guns of people in danger of committing violence. This week, the new House Speaker, Ryan Smith, said the measures would not stop gun violence and won't come up for a vote. Instead, the House seems poised to pass a so-called Stand Your Ground bill. The measure would remove the requirement to retreat before using deadly force in any location, not just your home. Andy Chow, did Kasich's gun proposal ever stand a chance?
Well, I mean, I guess a couple of months ago it did seem like it might move a little bit. I think the thing that the Kasich administration was really hoping for in the end was maybe this proposal wouldn't move, but also other pro-gun proposals would not move as well. I think it's coming as a little bit of a surprise that the Stand Your Ground legislation is actually going to poised to pass out of the House. It seemed like a couple of months ago that it was shelved for a while. It seemed like it wasn't going to move. So the fact that it is moving is a little bit surprising.
HB 228 was destined to pass. Stand the ground. It was destined to pass. Because the macho types in Ohio. I think the governor's package with the red flag thing, the domestic violence thing, all those things, enforcing the rules. And Governor, I'm supporting you again on the package that you put together. Because I think it makes sense to do what he's talking
Well,
about.
but the governor's made clear on the Stand Your Ground that he would veto it. And I happened to this week run into Bill Seitz, who's one of the big pushers, and he'll tell me on one hand, 49 other states have something similar to what they want to pass. But then today I talked to Ron O'Brien, and he said it's not quite that simple. And in some ways, the stand your ground. Based on what he said, Ohio, because the prosecutors, the police chiefs, the Buckeye
All of them are
sheriffs,
against it.
they're all against it because it's not been a problem. So why pass a law to fix something that hasn't been a problem?
Real quick, the 49 states, that's a whole other provision. That's not stand your ground. It's a whole other provision about self-defense.
Yeah, it's where the defendant has the duty to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that they were using self-defense.
And it doesn't have to be guns. It could be anything in self-defense.
So why we are the only state that has that?
For self-defense, the burden of proof is on the defense.
Well,
instead
normally,
of the
of course, the
prosecutor.
burden of proof is on the prosecutor. Why are we so different in that?
I think it's just the way code's been for 200 years, and prosecutors have been fighting it, and prosecutors are a big supporter of keeping it the way it is.
Well, should that be the case? Should the defendant have to prove his innocence?
Well, but there's other
if he or she-
cases like the insanity defense. If you want to claim insanity defense, the burden's on you to prove it. So as Ron O'Brien told me, it's done in a lot of other cases where the burden is on you to prove it.
But the prosecutors are concerned that criminals may use this to defend themselves.
Well, and
after they kill
and
somebody.
when you've got the sheriffs and the police chiefs and others, prosecutors, against this change, it tells you something. But my sense is, I don't know if it's probably going to go somewhere in the lame duck session, but the governor's there with these veto pens, so I don't know
think they'll have
ultimately.
the votes to override it. They,
Yeah,
they
and-
suggest they have the votes.
Yep.
I think
Another
so, too.
interesting provision in this bill is that it blocks local governments from enforcing their
Laws.
own bans, which we've seen a couple local governments in Ohio do, so it would prevent them from doing that in the future.
Yeah, Cincinnati and Columbus both banned the bump stocks.
Right.
Those are the devices that turn semi-automatic weapons into
So
automatic weapons.
I always find that interesting because although we have a conservative gun rights legislature, we also have a legislature that touts local control. So this kind of flies in the face of local control. and
You want
interesting
people to be
provision.
consistent all the time?
I think it's an interesting
They're
provision.
schizoid. They don't know who they are and when they are going to be who they're going to be.
I mean, this seems like Parkland was so long ago, as always is the case with this.
God.
The momentum was there longer this time than in past mass shootings. But Andy, it's faded.
And unfortunately, whenever there's momentum behind a gun control measure, it follows some sort of mass shooting. And so when, again, like you said, Parkland, Florida was back on in February, it's because a couple of months have gone by. It just seems like the momentum for any sort of gun control.
You raise an important point about the politics of today. Cable television has changed how we see things, how we believe in things, and we're looking for these peaks all the time. And when it peaks, it drops off, and no longer people are interested in it, but it's still a problem. There's no substantive. We're on these children things. It was Parkland before that. It was Charleston before that. I mean, it's just so many things that we have normalized that are hideous things that are being normalized. We expect these things to happen.
And of course, cable news is all Trump all the time now, no matter what else is going on.
I mean, loving or hating him.
It doesn't matter, as long as it's Trump.
Well, you can pick the channel, whether
Yeah.
you want to love him or whether you want to hate him.
Yeah, I mean, we had a volcano erupt in Hawaii that destroyed hundreds of homes, and it got like barely a mention. Talk about great TV, pictures-wise, and it's Trump, Trump, Trump. The House,
Trump is a volcano.
yes,
Pretty
yes,
much,
he is.
right? Erupting all the time. I mean, it's kind of the same
And
thing.
MSNBC almost says it's his fault. I don't know how that works.
Andy, the new House Speaker sounds an awful lot like the old House Speaker. You don't see a whole lot of change in philosophy.
Right, and the whole idea of, well, we need to have conversations about this, we need to talk about this. So it's kind of hard to gauge where we are on a lot of things. But yeah, as far as guns go, as far as some of these other issues are concerned, unemployment compensation, it seems like there's a lot of talk behind it, but not a lot of action coming forward.
Well, the lame duck, how many sessions do they have left? Just one or two before they break for summer?
Yeah, I think one
I
more.
think just one next week.
No, they're going to have some more, maybe each month, because the new speaker wants to look like they're doing a lot and being active. So,
Yeah.
Then the lame duck session, where all the action happens.
yes.
Right.
After the election. Columbus City Council has come under increasing criticism for its practice of giving big property tax breaks to developers who build in booming neighborhoods like the Short North. But at least the breaks came with strings attached. Now, City Council is cutting the strings. As first reported by the Dispatch, Council this week retroactively changed tax breaks agreements for 3 developers who had promised to create hundreds of jobs. They came up short, very short. So the city changed the deal, but the developers get to keep the tax credits. Sam Gresham, where's the incentive to create jobs if we're going to let them off the hook?
There is no incentive. I want you to go back into the archives. And if you go back into the archives of the news at the time this building was put together, Common Cause Ohio opposed this project, and we were very verbal about it. We were on television, every place we get. This property was transferred for $1.
The Pizzuti property.
Yeah, it was just transferred for $1, and it was given these requirements to do, and they haven't even come close to meeting. But now these are the sweetheart deals that go down all the time. The Dispatch and the other forms of media have uncovered it so that people can see it, and then politicians have the nerve to go back and not penalize them, but retroactively change the goals right in front of the public.
And some of these deals are so outrageous, they're not only getting free land, or maybe they pay $1, then they get a property tax break, then they get added money from the city to do things, and then when you give them, it's like Christmas being twice. Why should certain developers get Christmas twice and not have to provide the jobs?
Originally, these deals are thought to be in the public interest, but when they don't meet the promises that they make in terms of jobs and good paying jobs, et cetera, this hurts schools. The property taxes that Columbus is losing as the result of these deals is less money going to Columbus schools and other factors.
You mean I have to pay higher property taxes where I live in Clintonville because of this stuff?
Aren't you tax abated?
No, I didn't get a tax abatement. I'm shocked.
With these
You couldn't
development
get a
deals,
deal for
No,
yourself?
I didn't get a tax abatement. I got to pay my property taxes.
Usually with these development deals, it kind of seems like a chicken or egg scenario where you put it out there and then the jobs will come. But the fact that they change it retroactively is sort of negates all
It's
of that.
hypocritical.
I mean,
Come on, be honest.
I commend
It's
council for
hypocritical.
demanding jobs that pay $12 an hour or over. That's commendable.
You only
But
did 20.
now they
You only got
back.
20 out of these deals.
Right now they're backing down from it.
Well, but $12 is not enough. You need to be $17.25.
Well, maybe the bar should be higher, yes. But I mean, I
Yes.
commend them for at least setting a bar.
The council has shifted responsibility for this to let me get it right now, the Tax Incentive Review Council.
Sure.
It's made up of city officials and school district members.
Well,
Michael Stinziano, the city council member, told us this week, well, we just follow the recommendations.
Well, as I recall, there was a movie called The Godfather, and they referred to buffers. This is a buffer that protects council so they can act like they don't know what goes on. But the buffer was created by council so they could say, oh, we didn't know anything about it.
That's true.
It's amazing.
Sounds like we need to talk to people on that council.
We got to find out when they meet and where they meet, and I assume it's public. If they make
It's hard to imagine Columbus Public Schools agreeing to that. I
There were
mean,
district members on this committee, perhaps picked by city council or school committee members. But what is to prevent the next developer from saying, I'm going to give you 150 jobs, and they're all going to pay $50,000 a year. Just give us the land for free. I'm not going to pay any taxes.
Mike,
and then
the
2 years later
research-
saying, well, it didn't work out.
The research across the country said that they very seldom fulfill their expectations, and there is no penalty on them. So they keep doing it. Amazon, we're going to give them half the world.
I was going to say Amazon.
I mean, I don't understand the politics of it sometimes. You have the short north. What incentive do you need to give a developer to come to the short north? Now, I know they're going to say, well, at that time we needed it. Now you don't need that.
Well, 20 years ago, you might have needed incentives, but that's been a booming place for the past 10 years. There's no legitimate reason you need to give these subsidies to the developers.
So the city had all the leverage here. I mean, this building's up. I mean, it's under construction.
Well, the
They're not gonna tear it down.
city leverage was the mayor and certain council people wanted money from these developers. And you can go back, and I think the Dispatch has documented it. These developers they reward each other. And
But Mike, there's a very
great
simple
return on investment.
Very simple way of doing it. You can put a fine in the deal that if you don't make the numbers, then you have to pay this fine.
But if you can say 2 years later, we're going to waive the fine, that's basically what they did here.
That's true. I can't fight that. I can't.
So
we need more lawyers.
well, I mean, why does it keep happening?
Because it's
Dumb
the way.
question, I know.
Because that's the way City Hall plays the game. I mean, the Dispatch.
Not only City Hall, everybody
The
plays it.
Dispatch did a great job a couple weeks ago on North Broadway and Olentangy and the deal with Ohio Health and the millions. And
It's called pay to play.
well, and it was
Pay to play.
buried in the editorial
Oldest
about the
story in
mayor's
the book,
wife
right?
works for Ohio Health in a high-paying job, and it's amazing that the mayor and the mayor's wife and
Right.
these people, it's all
But there's no problem in Columbus. We're a clean city. We don't have this type of scandal going on.
Well, I'm
We
glad the
don't have people
dispatch
throwing chairs at each other like they do in other places, but I don't think we're clean.
but I'm
You'd have,
glad,
you'd have shoes for a while. Bill Moss banging the
Bill
shoe.
Moss did that, yeah.
but I'm
God rest
glad
his soul.
But I'm glad the dispatch has done some reporting. We just need to do more of it because there's lots of unbid contracts and other things that bear scrutiny.
All right, let's get to our final off-the-record parting shots. Sam Gresham, you're up first.
Finally, there's somebody that's going to get some stench on them from the payday lenders. The congressman, the member of the House of Representatives that introduced that last resolution to kill the deal is going to get some stench on him.
I would give a shout out to the U.S. Supreme Court today. They had a rather startling decision on cell phones and your privacy. And then next week, I predict fasten your seatbelts, whether it's the union forced deductions from people that don't want to pay the union dues. There's going to be some other big decisions. So next week, there's going to be a lot of headlines out of the Supreme Court.
A year and a half ago, we saw a bunch of people come together and say, we're going to fix unemployment compensation, but it's been a year and a half and we still haven't seen anything. It's possible we might hit the next recession before we have a fix to this.
And Kathy.
And talking about Supreme Court, Ohio Supreme Court rulings next week, look for ECOT ruling to come out. I think this will be the nail in the coffin for the online school. They're hoping for a favorable ruling from the Ohio Supreme Court that would allow them to reopen in the fall. I do not think they're going to get it.
And this coming week, the future of the Columbus Crew could be decided on Thursday night when the Austin City Council decides whether to take the proposal to build the stadium at a place in Austin or to consider it more. The delay could jeopardize the Crew's move to Austin. So look for that. A lot of news next week. We'll have it all here on Columbus on the Record. So I'm going to take the week off next week. Ann Fisher will be here. That is Columbus on the Record for this week. Check us out online, Facebook and Twitter. Connect to it all at our website, WOSU.org, where you can see each episode on demand. If you want to go to the beach, you can take us with you. For our crew and for our panel, I'm Mike Thompson. Have a good week.